Are you taking the solicitor's qualifying examination? If so, this video is a practice test question to help you prepare for the SQE1 exam. In this part of the course, we will cover what you need to know for the SQE1 exam about breaching the peace. This forms part of the public law section of the SQE1 exam curriculum. I will explain this in this easy to learn diagram, and we will then go through this practice test question together for the SQE1 exam. To get the first part of our full SQE preparation course for free, just click on the link below. My goal is to help you prepare for and pass the solicitor's qualifying examination first time. Breach of the peace. It is unlawful to breach the peace and to threaten to breach the peace. The formal definition of a breach of the peace is an act done or threatened which actually harms a person or, in his presence, his property, or is likely to cause such harm, or which puts a person in fear of such harm. So the lowest threshold is a threat to do something which puts a person in fear that their property is likely to be damaged in their presence. That is the minimal form of a breach of the peace. So theoretically, it would include standing on a pavement outside someone's garden, threatening that you will break their garden fence. An act like this may involve the commission of criminal offences, but a breach of the peace is not in itself a criminal offence. The important thing is that there is a common law power of arrest in respect of a breach of the peace or behaviour threatening to breach the peace. So it is most often used in connection with drunken behaviour and associated arrests, but it is also encountered in connection with protests. This is where there is an interaction with human rights because a person has the right to freedom of peaceful expression and opinion, Article 10, and a right to peaceful assembly and freedom of association with others, that's Article 11. However, such interference with these rights by the state, for example, an arrest at a protest, can be justified if the interference is firstly prescribed by law, secondly pursues a legitimate aim, especially the aims of public safety and the prevention of disorder or crime, and thirdly is proportionate to the aim pursued. So as we've seen, UK legislation prescribes measures for the control of assemblies and processions to this end, but the existence of a power of arrest for a breach of the peace is another such justifiable interference which is prescribed by law. It pursues such a legitimate aim, in other words, the aims of public safety and the prevention of disorder, and it may be proportionate to that aim depending on the circumstances of the protest and the arrest. So we'll learn more about related public order criminal offences in the criminal law section of this SQE1 programme. But the key thing to remember for breach of the peace is that it's not itself a criminal offence, but it does have an associated power of arrest, which, as I say, is typically used in connection with drunken incidents and protests as well. So let's consider a practice SQE1 question. This is a question of the kind that you could get in the SQE1 exam. Which of these statements best describes the elements of a breach of the peace? A. An act, and not mere omission to act, by which a person intentionally or recklessly causes another to suffer or apprehend immediate unlawful violence. B. An act of entering any building or part of a building as a trespasser with intent to steal, inflict grievous bodily harm, or do unlawful damage to the building. C. An act done or threatened which actually harms a person or, in his presence, his property, or is likely to cause such harm, or puts a person in fear of such harm. D. An act of forcing on any person or putting or seeking to put any person in fear of being then and there subjected to force. The answer is C. An act done or threatened which actually harms a person or, in his presence, his property, or is likely to cause such harm or puts a person in fear of such harm. I hope you found this helpful. To get the first part of our full SQE preparation course for free, just click on the link below. See you in the course.